31 Super Motocross World Championship events can be streamed domestically. That's here in the U.S. on Peacock. So to subscribe, go to peacocktv.com/sports/supermotocross. Now it's time for Fowler's Facts. We're bringing in our own encyclopedia of data, Clinton Fowler. And let's start with a great debate. We have head versus the heart. Daniel and you battling it out. Daniel, what's the story here?
Man, this Clinton, Clinton comes on Race Day Live and says, with his stats and facts, Malcolm Stewart is a crowd favorite, but doesn't believe he's going to be able to get the win this year. There was things that needed to improve, and he said he didn't feel like it was going to happen. And then Clinton, halfway through that main event, I know you were scared, and I was thinking of you mid-main event because I thought the heart was going to win that one, but it didn't.
I was nervous, Daniel. I was really nervous. Obviously, he had an incredible race on Saturday night. Malcolm was really on it. But I said if he was going to get the win, he's got two things he's got to solve for. He's got to solve for the starts, and he's got to set the fastest lap. He did 50% of that. He didn't get the other 50%. He got an incredible start. He was fourth out of the gate. Last year, he averaged eighth. So significant improvement there. But he didn't get the fastest lap. And ultimately, it ended up playing in my favor. But man, you're right. I was super, super nervous there about midway through that main event, Daniel.
In the words of the very wise Happy Gilmore, somebody's closer, Clinton. He's closer, and you know it because I know you were scared. Hey, I do want to turn this over to that main event. Look, we love battles, right? We love to see the back and forth, the action up front, the lead changes, but typically, statistically, we don't see that many in a main event. But Clinton, there's a trend that is forming right now in the sport, and it was on display at Anaheim 1.
Yeah, what an incredible night of racing. And when you look at the numbers, something that really stuck out for me is we had 4 different race leaders, 4 different lead changes, which is pretty incredible when you think about it, because in the last 10 years, we've only had 5 races with that being the case. One of them, which I'm sure you can remember back to, is 2017 East Rutherford. And then the other
that was controversial. There were teammates moving over for each other, so that barely counts in my mind.
Yep. Yeah. Like not really racing, if you wanted to put it right. But then 2022, we had 3 races: Denver, Arlington, and Detroit.
And now this one.
So in 10 years, the amount of times this has happened, if you take that 2017 weird title race out, it's the last 11 races we've had are the only times this has happened in 10 years?
Yep. 4 times in the last 11 races. It's absolutely amazing to think about. We're seeing some great competition.
That's what we like to see. All right. Any other data that you can give us to unpack from Anaheim 1?
I've got a bunch of stuff on individual riders here, Weege. Let's dive in and talk about Eli Tomac and the fact that if he wins the same amount of races as he did in 2022, in 2023, he will be ranked second all time with 51 wins ahead of James Stewart, which is just wow. Yeah, it's just amazing to ponder. He's also now the 8th rider over the age of 30 to get a win, right? So pretty amazing to watch. Obviously, he's got Ricky, who's up next, but did you ever think you would be saying that Eli Tomac would have more wins than Ricky Carmichael and James Stewart in Supercross?
Unbelievable. And that sure looks like it's within reach. What else did you see?
The next one that I thought was pretty interesting is Dylan Ferrandis. Obviously, the real deal. He had the 3rd fastest lap time of the night, an incredible main event. But for him to win, he's got to get his starts figured out. He still struggled on the starts. He was 9th on the first lap. Last year, he was 14th on the whole shot and 10th on the first lap. So he's still got some work to do. But I think we're going to see Dylan in the podium range every single week if he keeps this up.
Okay, Cooper Webb, what do you have on that?
Yeah, so Cooper Webb, I don't know if I'm sold yet that he's back. There's a lot of talk that he's back. He was feisty at the press conference, and he came out with an incredible main event where he went from 10th to 2nd. But last year, he went from 6th to 2nd. It was a bit of a surprise podium. Last year, he finished 7th in Oakland after finishing 2nd to Anaheim 1. So I'm still curious to see, does he bring it for the whole first half of last year, whereas last year that wasn't the case.
All right, now the big story coming into this race was Ken Roczen. He was in there, but for a 4-time round one winner, he didn't get a win. So for him, that's a little bit subpar. What do you see on Roczen and that Suzuki return?
Yeah, Ken Roczen, obviously, big story, big change this offseason. I think there's still more questions here. And I think the next few rounds are going to be telling. Anaheim 1 sets the second fastest lap time of the whole night. He comes out, he's in second place by the 6th lap. But then he does something characteristic to what he did last year. He dropped back all the way to 6th place on the 17th lap. And if you look at 2022, he had 9 races, 5 of them where he lost positions. And so at Anaheim 1, he repeated that. So now for me, over the next few races, I'm going to be looking to see, can he actually stay up front when he sets those fastest laps?
Hey, Daniel, now I'm going to swing it from the data to you and the analysis. We've seen Roczen fade before, and a lot of that goes back to his health, illnesses, all those things. Was this that? To me, it looked more like the bike and the track weren't gelling for him.
I always go with my heart. So my heart tells me that he was just making smart decisions, wasn't fully comfortable the whole day, still was pretty racy in the beginning. I mean, he gave Tomac a little aggression early, but I can't run from Clinton's stats. It is part of a trend that he does work himself backwards, but I'm just going to hope that round 1, he was playing it smart and just being safe, and there's better things coming. I hope he trends the other direction, but man, to this point, he's winning all these battles with the stats, so I got to ride with that too.
Clinton, thanks for stopping by. We'll have you next week.
Thanks, Weege. Great to chat with you today.